Hello, I hope you're having a wonderful time. I went across my comment section and I found three questions that I would like to answer in this video. Well, the first comes from Abiodun Latif. Good evening, sir. Thank you for your effort. It is so much appreciated. Please, sir, enlighten us more on how to make choice of courses in relation to WAEC results, i.e., my son wants to study accounting science, but in his WAEC result he has English and mathematics, physics, chemistry, biology, and economics and other. What do you think, sir, of his WAEC results and his choice if accounting science as regards his admission? Are they related and can he be considered for his choice, or is it better for him to choose a course that is related to his WAEC subjects? Well, Abiodun, I will answer you straightforward. The answer is he doesn't have any limitations here in Brazil, and I will explain why. You see, here in Brazil, everyone does all the subjects. They study all the subjects. Both the science and art students, they study all the subjects. So that gives them more advantage than students graduated in Nigeria. But when you graduate in Nigeria, you kind of have a specificity. You are specific in your area of studies. It's either you are an art student, you are science, or you are a commerce students. We have different ramifications in Nigeria. When you finish your JSS3, you're moving to SS1. You're expected to start, specializing in a certain field. So that kind of limits us to some certain areas. For instance, I was a science student, so I cannot maybe go to study law at the university. It is different here in Brazil, no limitations. So, Abiodun, I want you to know that your son doesn't have restrictions. He can participate in the selective process, or let's say in the mobility program to come and study here in Brazil. The next question is from James. James writes, "Hi, thank you for all that you do for us. I wanted to find out your honest opinion. Can I survive in Brazil without stipend? Are there opportunities to survive on easily?" Well, I'm happy that you recognize what I do. Actually, I do it, because I think it's necessary that we try to help ourselves, provide information, right? And sometimes it's not the qualitative information I wish I could provide. Like this one, I wish I knew everything about, survival tactics here in Brazil, you know. But, James, in my opinion, there are cities where you can survive here in Brazil, like Rio and Sao Paulo. I don't know if you've heard of these two cities. When you talk about Brazil, you are talking about Rio. People know Rio de Janeiro. But in terms of opportunity, Sao Paulo is a place where you can find opportunity. You can work and study at the same time, right? But if you go to other small cities, you might find it very difficult. For instance, where I live, there are little opportunities here. So you need to be a kind of qualified person, someone with maybe something specific, and you do something that many people don't do. You can be able to survive here in São Luís. So, but it's possible that you survive here in Brazil, most especially if you kind of have a mind like me, okay? I am someone who is really uh, adventurous, right? I remember I traveled to the south without any stipend, you know, even though I was thinking that I might get a scholarship in my first year, but it was like a probability. The chances were very low, but um, didn't want to lose the opportunity. So I went. I spent a year without scholarship. It was really hard. I had to work, and I worked as an English teacher. Okay, I was teaching basic English. Brazil speaks Portuguese. So I took that as, an opportunity, to teach English. And, I was able to survive for a year. And the second year, I was offered a scholarship, and, things started going on well. It's possible to survive in Brazil. As I said, opportunities, it depends on where you are in Brazil. So if you are coming, don't have any expectations of scholarships, of stipends, you can decide to go to a big city. But James, if you are coming to study, try to come maybe through a mobility program. If you are coming for the master's or doctorate, you try the GCUB, which is democratic. I think it's more democratic than the PEC-PG, right? You can apply on your own. It takes time, but it's an investment. It's something that it's an opportunity that if it comes, in fact, it's a life-changing opportunity. So I think it's worth it to invest in coming through the right channel. If you come through the GCUB, you are guaranteed scholarship. So you wouldn't have to combine the two at the same time, working and studying. It's a terrible combination. You study and work at the same time. It's something I wouldn't like you to do, because I'm talking based on experience. But in case you really want to try it, no problem. Right, James? It's possible, of course. It's possible to survive without stipend here in Brazil. Let's take the last question. It's lengthy, and I'm not a good reader, if you guys must have observed. But let's go. Let's read. All right, Michael, this is your message. Mr. Ayuba, good morning. Good morning, Michael. Your experience in Brazil is exciting, emotional, and touching as a foreign student. Okay. Although I had a bachelor in English, I'm sure there is no English or a related department in Brazilian universities. Yes, there is no university taught in English. And it's even hard to say there is no university taught in English, because at the postgraduate level, we see a lot of English. But for you to, kind of attend a class in English, it's very rare, okay? That is why somehow we can even say, okay, there is no English speaking university here in Brazil. All of them, they kind of administer their classes in Portuguese, yes. Uh, because you just have some few programs, sometimes a specific subject. So you can't say, okay, English is spoken in an X university, for instance, okay? But if you are talking about department, you have Department of Languages, and you have English as a subject, English as a course. You have French as a course, you have Spanish as a course. So you find those in the Department of English, or in the department, in the linguistic department. They speak English. Yes, they can communicate in English, they can teach in English, okay? Because they study English. So it seems it seems everything is in Portuguese. Of course, everything is in Portuguese, Michael. Of course, everything is in Portuguese, Michael. However, can I study Masters in Humanities or Education in any Brazilian university in conjunction with learning Portuguese language for academic purpose, since there are no English departments or English taught programs? Yes, Michael, you can do that. No restrictions. If you remember, the first message was similar to this, right? Some people think there are restrictions here in Brazil. There are no restrictions, okay? You can jump from medicine to law. It's normal here in Brazil. I used to have students, I used to have colleagues in my class, and today some of them are dentists, some of them are lawyers, right? And I am a graduate of chemical engineering. You see, So here it's possible. You can study English and you study history at the postgraduate level. No problem, no limitations, right? So how do you study English? How do you study Portuguese? When you go through the selective process, that is for the GCUB program, GCAP, if you are selected, you come here, they take you to a Portuguese school, okay? No worries. You don't need to like think of, okay, how am I gonna pay for my Portuguese lessons? How can I learn Portuguese? No, you don't have problem with that. They are gonna provide you with that, okay? It's a system that has been projected to teach you Portuguese and your course at the same time, right? Let's continue. Also, I was told that the application for postgraduate studies in Brazil for 2025 has passed. Unfortunately, Michael, it has closed, okay? You have to wait for next year's edition. So, must I wait for 2025 to apply 2026 intakes, or there are universities that are still accepting application for 2025 intakes? Well, Michael, this is a fantastic question. And it's something that people don't realize. There are other alternatives of coming into Brazilian universities, okay? But they are not easy. It's something that is very difficult, okay? Now, let me tell you what happens. You can come in through other channels apart from the GCUB, which I call the GCAP, and the PEC-PG. You can come in, okay? Usually, you have to see if the universities are accepting applications. So they usually open, from let's say October, November, some August, they start opening. And immediately they open, you can apply. They have their own requirements. So if you watch this video, if you are interested in participating, you can go and you can visit the websites, okay, of specific universities in case you want to study in Sao Paulo, in Rio, if you want to study in Minas Gerais, Rio Grande do Sul, in Brasilia, that is that's the capital city of Brazil. Or if you want to study here in the Northeast, Rio Grande do Norte, here in Maranhão, where I live, or you can go to maybe Pará, Belém, which is a neighboring state here. They have a very good university. You can go to the extreme northeast, which is Recife. They have a very good federal university there. You can also go to Bahia. Bahia, they have a fantastic university there too. You can go to Sergipe. You can go to João Pessoa. You can decide to go to the north, the Federal University of Amazon. That's the Amazonas. They have a very good university too. So you can check the websites, and there you find information of how to apply. All the steps are there. So they might be surprised to see a foreigner applying because it's something that is not even common to them, okay? Now, what is going to be difficult for you is when you bring in your documents and somehow you need to authenticate them. You need to stamp them. You need to translate them if you are coming from an English-speaking country. So you need all the bureaucratic processes, the authentications, you need the stampings, you need to send all those references, and also the transcripts. Here they have standards. Usually, since they have one standard, they don't find it difficult to kind of evaluate their students when they are trying to check their curriculum. They have what you call the Lattice, which is a platform that all the students usually, if you are interested in research, you must have a profile there with all your publications, with all your academic productivities, everything is there. So somehow you just put the link there and they visit it and they confirm, your productivity. So if you're coming from outside, you might find these challenges, right? Of maybe standardization, but it's not impossible, okay? I think that is a very interesting question. And you can give it a try, Michael. You can give it a try. Who knows? You can just check. And when it's open, you send your documents. You send your productivity, but you need to be very productive because, yeah, it's a little bit competitive. Okay. So if you have publications, you have books, they give you high chances of getting a vacancy. But you can try that. Who knows, you would be here, informing us that, oh, I did this alternative. It's something that I have no information, but I think it's possible. Okay. I think it's possible not to come through the GCUB, that's the GCAP, or the PEC-PG. You apply directly to the universities. And there is other alternative, right? There is another alternative, which is coming to the private universities. Well, the private universities here in Brazil offer kind of admissions easily than the public universities, okay? They are less competitive. So sometimes you just need to send them an email and they try to check their list of maybe courses that they offer, and they can give you a vacancy, without, much evaluation, right? But you have to pay, of course, right? And yeah, but that's also an alternative, right? Additional information. Normally, if you compete with the Brazilians for the vacancies into the universities, in case you make it, there are courses that, so in case you make it into that university or into that course, if it's a very good course, when I say good course, there is a video where I talk a little bit about it. There is a number called the CAPS number. Usually the CAPS number starts from 3, that's the minimum, and it goes to 7. 7 has masters and doctorate. That's the maximum, okay? So you have 6, you have 5, you have 4, and depending on the course, you can go to like 6 in masters, okay? They can go to 6 in masters, but for them to get to 7, there has to be a doctorate level there, right? Let's say your program is CAP 7. So there is a good sign that you might have scholarships there, okay? Almost everyone has scholarship in the program of CAP 7. Okay, almost, okay? It's not exclusive, but you hardly see a CAP 7 without scholarships. There are students without scholarship. Now, when you go to like 3, like 4, you might have limitations. You might have like, let's say they're taking 20, you have like 10, 12 with scholarship, and the rest without scholarship. So somehow they have to wait for those who are graduating. That is the rest that don't have scholarship. They have to wait for those who are graduating. And they also have to wait for those who might fail a subject, because if you have a scholarship, you cannot fail a subject, okay? Put that at the back of your mind. So if you lose that scholarship, it goes to someone. So somehow you might have a chance of getting a scholarship, right? Another question is, outside the just concluded GCUB scholarships, are there no other scholarships, or even someone coming to Brazil for masters without scholarship? Yeah, that was what I explained, okay? Most of the universities in Brazil have hostels. So if you have financial difficulties, you might decide to live in one of those houses. And the universities is going to help you, of course. You are an international student, you want to study and you want to change your life, so it's understandable. The next line or the next question is, must all international graduate students come to Brazil through GCUB? No, not through GCUB. There are other alternatives. There are other international ties that Brazil has with specific countries and also the region. Okay, there is the PEC-G, which is different from GCUB. Pekji, you need to go to the embassy. The application is done at the embassy. Everything is done at the embassy. But the GCUB, you do it online. You just apply and Brazil evaluates you and calls you to study here. So there are other alternatives, of course. And I have also given you another alternative. Maybe that's also another alternative. So the last second to the last line, I've been searching and yet I have limited understanding about the whole thing. Thank you for your videos and God bless you richly. Well, Michael, uh, this was a lengthy question, but I really liked it. Okay, it's something that it's information that many people might find interesting or might find helping. It's also something that made me curious. The part that you mentioned that, is there other alternatives? That's something that I used to think of, but I didn't, think of it clearly. And you made me think of it clearly now. And I believe that, yes, of course, there should be an alternative of coming here to Brazil. And some people are doing that, but mostly they come through the private institutions. Okay, they don't come to the public institutions. uh, but it's possible if you have a very good curriculum, if you invest in studies, you invest in article writing, chapters, books, publishing, events, you know that gives you high chances of course getting any vacancy here in Brazil. So this is the video for today. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.